Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Good Success. Welcome back to Good Success. I am so much excited to be here. I am always excited to be here, and I am happy to be meeting every one of us again this week on another edition of Good Success. And I believe in our previous episode that we have been learning one or two things. I hope so. I really do hope so. Right? And today we'll be learning something very interesting. We'll be learning something very unique. Of course, it's something that we all know, but I know it's something we often or we should remind ourselves often because it's very important we develop our skill. And it's one thing about developing your skill that I identified in today's episode is that one way to unlock your potential, one way to unlock that hidden talent in you, one way to unlock that hidden talent in you is through building skills. And I'm so much excited to be here. And if you are here live with me, just like I used to do, I want you to tell me your name and where you are watching me from. Tell me what your name is and tell me where you are watching me from. I'm so much excited to be here again. I'm really happy, right? And just like I said in the previous episode, that our weekly event is in preparation to our forthcoming conference. Our forthcoming conference, which is the Growth Confluence. The Growth Confluence, and it's happening. Let me share you the slide. Right, so this is the Growth Confluence. The theme is understanding the cost of success. Understanding the cost of success. We all know, and in case you don't know, that success comes at a cost or at a price. So understanding the cost of success. So that's our theme for Growth Confluence. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be happening on the 5th and to the 11th of August. It's going to be a week program, all right, starting on Monday, ending on Sunday. I tell you, you sincerely don't want to miss it. You sincerely don't want to miss out from this conference. I tell you the sincere truth. You don't want to miss out from this conference. So try as much as possible. Join me and other speakers. We have invited about 7 speakers to speak on this conference. And some of the frequent questions I've received is that how much is the conference? Right, the conference is free. All right, 100% free. All you have to do is to register for the conference. So do well to register from the conference at bit.ly/growthconfluence24. These are the 5th edition of the Growth Conference. It's formerly known as the August Conference, but now we call it the Growth Confluence. And we have listed topics that our speakers will be speaking on. We have personal leadership, we have business and entrepreneurship, we'll be talking about career, we'll be talking about finance, health, faith, technology and AI, and relationship. You see, one of the things I believe so strongly is that your ability to achieve success in these areas, will definitely contribute to your success in life, right? It will definitely contribute to your success in life. All right. So without any further ado, let's go to today's discussion. Let me share my slide for that. All right, so this is it. Okay, let's this. I guess I'm sharing the wrong slide. No, I'm not. Oh, good. All right. So today we want to look at, just like I said, something very vital in our journey towards success. When we started this series, I mentioned that our definition of success should not be according to the society standard. We should have our own personal definition of success, and success should be viewed on personal fulfillment. There are many scales to judge whether you are successful or not, but one of the scale that I think we should often consider is on the scale of personal fulfillment. All right, personal satisfaction, that you decided to do a thing and you are able to accomplish it. That makes you successful. So success is beyond wealth and fame. And last week I spoke on vision. All right, having a clear vision. It's just important that if you will be successful, you need to be sure. You need to have a vivid picture of where you are going to. However, today we want to talk about skill building. Skill building, the key to unlocking your potential. Now, let me say this. We all know that we all have potential. I love a quote by Dr. Miles Monroe. He said, the richest place in the world is not the places we think it is. It's not in South Africa, it's not in America, it's not in Nigeria, it's in the graveyard. Because it is in the graveyard that you find potentials that are not tapped. It is in the graveyard you find people who died that never lived. So there is something key to unlocking your potential, and that is skill building. So tonight I want to talk about skill building. It's very, very important. Now listen to me. Investing in your skill development. You see, skill development is like having tools or weaponry of war. So it's the surest path to personal and professional growth. Investing in your skill development is the surest path to personal and professional growth. Now, let's look at it. What are the critical skills for success? I just want to go straight to the point. What are the skills that you need as an individual for success? Number one, you need technical skills. So, like say that another name for it is hard skills. Mastering role-specific competencies. You know, skills like maybe coding, data analysis, maybe project design, web design, or maybe being a medical doctor. Something that you know you can do. Maybe being a fashion designer. You must of a necessity have a technical skill that is attributed to your name. Listen to me. You see, the interesting thing there is this. It really does not matter. It really does not matter what the skill is. And let me say it this way. That if the purpose is to unlock your potential, get a skill. Or let me say, learn a skill. So you must have the technical skills. So if you are still on with me on this particular call, I want you to put it on the chat box. What are the technical skills that you have? Are you a web designer? Tell us about your business. Right? It's a free spot for publicity now. Right? Your technical skill. This skill is important for success. And you know, for example, you might have more than one technical skill. You can have about 4 or 5 technical skills. It really does not matter, because the combination of these skills eventually contributes to your success. Number 2, the second critical skill that you need for success, you need soft skill. Soft skill. Now, what are soft skills? Soft skills are interpersonal abilities like communication, like problem solving, like leadership. You know, they are not necessarily technical skills. They are skills that helps you to achieve your results seamlessly. You need soft skill. You need to learn about communication. You need to learn about problem solving. You need to learn leadership. These are soft skills. Listen to me. These critical skills will definitely help you to achieve success. These soft skills will definitely help you unlock that hidden talent in you. For many of you, you don't even know those talents. You don't know the potentials that reside inside of you. When you give yourself to skill development, when you give yourself to skill building, you begin to expose yourself to influences that will produce that potential in you. Number 3, you need transferable skills. Now, what are transferable skills? Transferable skills are skills that you can transfer, right? I guess that's simple enough. Skills that are not, you can transfer through different career paths. For example, communication, leadership. So whether you are in the medical field, or you are in ministry, or you are in business, your skill in leadership can help you survive or can help you thrive in those areas. So I want you to ask yourself this: what are my technical skills? What can I do? Can I web design, maybe like myself, or graphic design? Or you can do video editing, data analysis, all right? Or you are a mechanic, hairdresser. Make sure you identify yourself with the technical skill. Number 2, soft skills. These are skills that will help your technical skills or your art skills to thrive, unless you need the transferable skills. Now, let's talk about the 4 importance, or let me talk about the importance of lifelong learning. What is the importance of you putting yourself under a tough condition, if I could use that, to learning? Why should you be a lifelong learner? Why should it be that you must never get to a point in your career that you feel you are the top? There is always, in fact, that is our theme on Life Growth International, that there is always opportunity for growth. So what are the importance of lifelong learning? Number 1, adaptability. You see, listen, staying relevant is in a rapidly changing world requires continuous skill development. The world is changing. The world is changing. You need to stay relevant. You see, the world 10 years ago is not the same world you are living now. The world 10 years to come will definitely not be the same world you will be now. So you need lifelong learning. You need to give yourself to skill development. You need to keep enhancing. Okay, let me use myself as an example. I designed a website and I use WordPress to design a website. And now when you use, for example, when you use Astra Team, there is now AI website builder. I remember when I started designing a website about 7 years ago, over 7 years ago, it was tough. In fact, when we started with HTML. I mean, it's not. But okay, for example, I was watching a video. For those of you that use Adobe Photoshop, right? I was watching a video of Adobe Photoshop. There is an AI in Adobe Photoshop that you just tell what you want to put instead of you looking for a picture that has that particular design and start implementing it on your particular design. All you just have to do is to mark it, right? and tell the AI to put this particular thing there, and the AI will do it seamlessly. The world is changing. You need adaptability. You need to stay relevant in your field. And for you to stay relevant, you need skill development. Number two, competitive edge. Lifelong learners gain a distinctive advantage in the job market. If you are good at what you do, you have an advantage. You have a competitive edge over others. Number three, personal growth. You see, acquiring new skills fosters a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. When you acquire new skills, it gives you a kind of satisfaction. It gives you a kind of leverage over others. So when you are in a gathering and they are saying something about the skill you have something to say, or you have value to contribute. And number four, for career advancement. If you want to switch from one career to another, go for skill. Continuous skill building opens door to new possibilities, new opportunities, and promotion. So those are the importance of lifelong learning. Now let's talk about the methods of acquiring new skills. Now listen to me. I understand that for many of us, you know what I'm talking about, right? But the essence of this particular webinar is to bring it to your remembrance that you must sustain a mindset of lifelong learners. That for some of you that you are still in a junction that you don't know what to do, go and learn a skill. And let me say again, it really does not matter which skill you are learning. You see, I often say something for people I coach, and they say they don't know where to start. I tell them, I said, it doesn't matter where you want to start anywhere, because it is easy to change direction when you are in motion. It's easy to change direction when you are in motion, but when you are stagnant, you are not learning anything new, nothing is added to your life, then you will be there. But if you've learned something and you eventually no, this is not what I want to learn, but you already have that advantage of learning that thing, right? So let's talk about the methods of acquiring new skill. Number one is formal education. I know there was a particular time, I don't know, maybe it's still, on now, that some people will say school has come. All right. All right. You see, one of the things I say is that thank God for the society we are in today. And so when people say such thing, it's because they are not students of history, right? I believe because they are not students of history. When you check through history, you know that 2024 is better than 1930 by every standard. Some people will compare that there was a particular time, $1 is $1. 2024 is still better than 1930. You couldn't have imagined you living in the era where there is World War II. Right? You couldn't, you are living in a better world. It's a changing world, but it's a better world. All right. Of course, in the formal education, there are some changes that are expected, but you going to school position you on a better stage than many other people. Somebody will say that, okay, what about this other person that did not go to school and was able to achieve this? Now, check. You see, this is, let's look at data. Right? Check the majority of people who have the opportunity to go to school. and failed to go to school. Compare those that were successful to those that were not successful. Somebody will say, Bill Gates was a dropout, Mark Zuckerberg was a dropout. Now, okay, fine. Those people were dropouts and they became successful. Now, let's compare the number of people who dropped out from formal education that were successful and those who dropped out and were not successful. So, school is not scam. So, enroll in classes, workshop, and especially in these days that you can go to school anywhere. You don't have to go to register at one university. All right, you can go to school online. Right. Number two, the second method of acquiring new skill is on the job training. Learning through hands-on experience and mentorship. You know, I heard something from Vusi. All right, Vusi Temkwayo. He said something. He said there are three people you need in your journey in life. He said, number one, you need coaches. Number two, you need mentors. Number three, you need sponsors. So for you to acquire new skill, go and get a mentor. I remember one of my guests I brought on this show, mentioned about getting the mentor. Because what you are expected to do for 5 years, having a mentor will shorten that number of years. Right. Number three. Okay. Oh, no. What's happening? I'm coming. Right. The number three is self-directed learning. Utilizing online resources, books, and personal experimentation. Listen to me. You see, in the 1930, I cited the other time, how do I put it now? The access to knowledge is not like the way we have it now. You can type on Google and get almost any book online. Almost any book online. So you can go for self-directed learning. There are course websites. You can go to Coursera. You can go to Udemy. Make sure you are acquiring new skills. Number four, networking and collaboration. Connecting with others to share knowledge and best practices. Listen to me. You have no excuse for not being successful. You have no excuse for not achieving your personal goals. All you need to do is getting new skills. Whether you have to go back to school or for self-directed learning or through mentorship or through networking and collaboration. Right. Now, how to develop your skill for success? How can you develop your skills for success? Now, we've talked about how to get new skills. But getting the skill is not enough. Knowing how to build websites is not enough. Being a data analyst is not enough. How can you do it? How can you develop it? How can you increase your proficiency to success? Number one, identify gaps. Listen to me. Regularly assess your skills and pinpoint areas of improvement. There was something that happened recently. I met a client and she wanted to do a software for a supermarket, right? She wants to do a software like an inventory software, right? And because I use WordPress, I designed a website with WordPress, but she doesn't want she wants the web app to be online, but she doesn't want a website, right? So, and I understand that, okay, you can achieve that with PHP, but I don't code PHP, right? So, but she also had somebody else that can do that for her, but she wanted me to do it, right? But I have somebody that can do it, but eventually I lost the project, or I lost the business because I thought I could not do it with the WordPress I know. So by the time I lost the project, I just felt like, okay, let's see, is it possible for WordPress to do this particular thing? I started doing research, and I discovered that WordPress can do it. So I identified a gap and set areas of improvement. So identify the gaps in your skills. What are clients complaining about? People you've worked with, what are they complaining about? Identify those gaps and pinpoint areas of improvement. Number two, create a plan. Listen to me. Ensure you develop a strategy to systematically acquire new competencies. You see, one of the things I observed is that if you are building websites, I build websites, so I will use website design as my example here, right? If you are building websites, you might feel like you get a project, you are learning, which is true. Because when you work on practicals, you are learning more, right? But if care is not taken, you might enter into redundancy. You might be doing the same thing repeatedly and not learning anything at all. Maybe there is already a pattern you follow to build a website. So it is important you create strategy to acquire new competencies. You must learn how to do things in a better way. Okay, let me use another example. I remember when, what's it called? Elementor. All right, I don't know. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, there is this plugin I use in the website, but when Elementor came about, before Elementor started, we use the normal classical editor to design website on a website. The classical editor is just like the Microsoft interface, right? But when Elementor came in, it was difficult for me to adjust with Elementor. All right, but I just had to know that this is the future. Using page builder in WordPress is the future. If you stay with classical editor, now even WordPress by default has its own page builder. So if I had stayed with classical editor, I will be behind. So create strategy. It might not be easy for you to change tools, but create strategy to acquiring new skills. And number three, take action. Consistently dedicate time. You see, for myself now, I understand that, okay, I might be busy, but it's important to read book every day, maybe a chapter of a book every day. Take action, consistently dedicate time and effort to skill building activity. You can decide that every day for the online course you are doing, I'm going to practice it every day. I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm saying. Make sure you take action. The three things are the three ways I mentioned about developing your skill to success. One is identifying gaps. Number two, create a plan. Number three, take action. All right. Now let's talk about how to develop a growth mindset. There is this book I read some years back. Not some years back, I think last year. It was last year. It's about the psychology of success. It was talking about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. Now, it's important you develop the growth mindset. You see, I don't have it here, but there's something about the learning curve. When you are learning anything, when you are learning anything, it looks as though you are not making progress, especially when you are learning something new. If you decide to start learning maybe PHP now or data analysis, right? Or you decided to start learning hairdressing, or what do they call hairdressing now? All right, let me use fashion designer. All right, fashion design, right? Fashion design, web design. You just started learning something. Now, the learning curve it looks as though you are not making progress. But when you are consistent, suddenly you will just see that your learning progression move up. Right? But for you to stay consistent, You must develop what I call the growth mindset. Develop what I call the growth mindset. Now, for you to develop the growth mindset, you need to be curious. Eh? You know, the Yoruba says, what is behind 6 is more than 7, right? So be curious, embrace a mindset of continuous learning and exploration. Ask questions. To develop a growth mindset, ask questions. Number 2, be resilient. Persist through challenges and view failures as opportunity to learn. Be persistent. Number 3, be adaptable. I've talked about adaptability, right? Readily adjusting to changes. In your area, in your field, if you identify that there is a new tool that they are using, go and get it. Learn it. You see, if you will still be alive in the next 50 years, make sure you are developing your skill. Maybe, let me even say in the next 10 years. If you are not planning to die in the next 10 years, make sure you are developing your skills. So be adaptable, right? Learn new skills. If you want to be relevant, if you want to be successful, if you want to get satisfaction, you need to develop your skills. And lastly, be determined. Maintain focus and dedication to achieving the skill development goal. Maintain focus and dedication to achieving your skill development goals. Be determined. Now, I know it's not beans to be determined, right? But the first thing, and I'm going to say it again, I guess I mentioned this in the last episode, what Denzel Washington said. He said, without commitment, you can't begin a thing. But more importantly, without consistency, you can't finish. So be determined to finish this thing. If you start a course, whether by struggling, whether the course is already boring, make sure you finish it. Don't do it because you want to get the certificate. But even if it is because to get it, make sure you are not forming an habit or starting a thing and not finishing it. Make sure you get to the end. Just like my people will say, they say the end is the end of cinema. Right? So that is how to develop a growth mindset. I don't know what's happening here. Okay. Right. So I'm back. So this, all I'm mentioning tonight, it's very, very important. Right. Now, let me talk about how to leverage on online resources for skill acquisition. I know many of us, we are still methodic. We are still old school. We love the physical classes. And I mean, attending a physical class is very, very important. It gives you a different feeling, right? But if you really do not have the opportunity to attend a physical class, or if you do not have the financial capacity, to attend a physical class, there are online resources that you can leverage for skill acquisition. One, we have online courses. There are several websites. There are several platforms that offer free training. You want to learn data analysis? I tell you, there are free places. In fact, for example, maybe this one is not free, but you can get best courses there even for free. For example, you can get, depending on what you want to learn, on Coursera, or maybe some people will call it Coursera. Whatever your pronunciation is, Coursera or Coursera, it doesn't really matter. You can apply for their financial aid. All right, you can apply for their financial aid, and this will help you. It will help you explore a wide range of structured learning program at your own pace. You can decide to learn in within 6 months. You can decide to learn in within 3 months. So we have the online courses, we have educational videos, gaining practical insights, step-by-step guidance from expert instructors. You see, even if you can't even go there, go to YouTube now. Go to YouTube and watch videos. I mean, YouTube is just, I don't know. It's just a powerful learning platform. Instead of going to Netflix and watch film, I don't know maybe there is any educational stuff on Netflix, but go to YouTube and learn, just type website design. In fact, for example, if you already have a skill and you want to increase you want to get new competence, you want to get new methods, or you want to learn new tools on that particular skill, go to YouTube. Search for the latest tool in that particular skill. So we have educational videos, we have ebooks and tutorials, we have guides, we have step-by-step processes to achieving something. Listen to me. After this webinar, you don't have an excuse. You can decide to download the material. You can do night sub. Maybe you say that is because of you don't have subscription. You can do night sub. Listen to me. Ensure you give yourself to growth. Ensure you give yourself to lifelong learning. This is very, very important. You really, in this generation, you really do not have any excuse. You really do not have any excuse. Give yourself to skill development. If you do not know what you should do, go and learn a skill. Let me say it again. It is easier for you to change direction when you're in motion. Let me say it again. It is easier for you to change direction when you're in motion. But if you are waiting, that I don't know what to learn, just go learn website design. I don't know why I'm saying website design. Learn graphics design. Or learn IT fundamentals. Learn something. I hope somebody is going to take initiative from this particular thing and go and learn a new skill. It does not matter whether you are at the top of your career, go and learn something new. Get a book and read. Right? Okay. Now, let's look at effective strategy for skill practice and mastery. What are the strategies that can help you master and practice your skill? Number one, deliberate practice. Listen to me. Set timetable. This time to this time. For example, I decided that one of the first things to do when I get to work, if there are no urgent work or pending work on ground, is for personal development. So I have a book. It's not close by. I have a book I'm reading currently. It's about sales. It's about 80-20 rule. All right, sales and marketing. So the first thing I'm doing when I get to the office is get that book, read a chapter. Deliberate practice. Repeatedly challenging yourself to improve specific skills. Repeatedly challenging yourself to deliberately improve specific skills. Number two, feedback and reflection. Seek constructive criticism and analyze your progress. For example, each time I finish this particular series, my pastor will call me and give me feedbacks. For example, if you notice that my slide is more clearer than what it was last week, that is as a result of feedbacks. Because yes, I'm doing this, but there is always room for improvements. There is always room for improvement. So seek for feedbacks and reflections. Number 3, application and experimentation. Putting your skill into real world use and testing new approaches. So put your skills into real world view. If you are learning website design, for example, website design is more or less like real world, right? So, but depending on the skills you are learning, put it, experiment with it. And the last thing I will mention in here is the spaced repetition. Revisit and reinforce learning skills over time. Listen to me again. Let me quote it again. Without commitment, you cannot begin. But more importantly, without consistency, you cannot finish. So give yourself spaced repetition. You learn the skill, go back and learn it again. After 3 days, go back and learn it again. It doesn't have to be every day, but make sure that it is consistent. It could be consistently 2 days. It could be consistently weekly. It could be, just make sure that you are giving yourself to learning. Listen to me. The essence of this particular webinar is to inspire you to go ahead and learn a skill. And give me the testimony that you've learned a skill, right? Now, how to overcome barriers to skill building. Listen to me. It's not beans to learn a skill. It's not easy. All right. Yeah, I said it's easy, but yeah, it's easy and it's not really easy. So there are barriers, there are challenges. Number 1, time constraints. I just highlighted some here. Time constraints. For some of us, we might feel you are too busy. You are busy with work. You are busy with your children, right? You really do not have time. Your business is taking a lot of time. You really desire to learn a skill, but listen to me. Prioritize skill development. See, you can make more, you can have more if you are the best in your field. People will not buy from you because you are doing it. People will buy from you if you are good at it. So be good at it. Be good and know that you are good. But that knowing should not come from you alone, that others can also reference to it that you are good. So, but for time constraint, prioritize skill development by creating a dedicated learning schedule. That from so time to so time, even if it is for 30 minutes, it is my learning time. Okay, right. From so time to so time is my learning time. Number 2, lack of motivation. If your problem, if the barrier you are facing is lack of motivation, cultivate a growth mindset. You can go back, rewind the video and check what I mentioned about growth mindset. Be curious. What is behind CIS, right? I'm just using what my people say, that what is behind CIS is more than 7. Be curious, ask questions, right? Cultivate growth mindset and focus on the benefits of the long term. Because sincerely speaking, if you give yourself to learning, you will get better results. You see, the reason why you are not getting better results, let me say it this way. The reason why your neighbor is getting better results than you are is because your neighbor knows what you don't know. And one way to know what he or she knows is for you to get a skill. And lastly, if you are battling with self-doubt, celebrate small victories. Listen to me. You can decide to tag me. If you are able to discover what you want to learn, tag me. Let's celebrate it. For you to discover it, or just discovering it, tag it. You now eventually decided to take a course and you completed it. Oh my goodness. We need to celebrate. So celebrate small victories and embrace a spirit of continuous improvement. How to measure and track skill development progress. How can you measure and track skill development progress? Number one, self-assessment. There are several tools online that can help you assess yourself. For example, LinkedIn, right? If you're a web designer, you can go to LinkedIn and do tests. And you see, that even helps because by the time you assess yourself with LinkedIn, you can put it on your profile. So, but it's important that you periodically evaluate your skill against well-defined competency framework. Compare yourself, LD competition, comparison. Compare yourself with industry standards. Compare yourself with what the best designers are doing. So that somebody will not give you a work as a web designer and you will be using CorelDRAW standard when there are better innovations. So give yourself to self-assessment. Number two, milestone tracking. Listen. Set and monitor progress. Make sure you are monitoring your progress towards specific skill building goal and milestones. How well are you progressing? Monitor your progress. Number three, feedbacks from others. Listen to me. Ask others. You see, I got a gig. I created an ad for somebody on Friday. I made the voiceover. I also do voiceover. I made the voiceover and I put in some designs on it, right? And I added some music. I do video editing. I edited the audio. I did everything and I came up with something. So I needed to give it to my colleagues in the office to evaluate. Seek feedback, because to yourself you might feel like, oh my goodness, this thing is very good, wow, but they will look at it and say, what is this? Because no matter how good your product is to yourself, you are selling that product to a client, so the client must also see that it is good. So seek feedbacks. Again, seek feedbacks from your peers, from your colleagues. Seek feedback from your mentors. Seek feedbacks from your supervisors to gain valuable perspectives. Seek feedbacks from somebody that knows better than you. This will really help you. Lastly, skill showcasing. Demonstrate your ability through project portfolio and certification. Yes. This will really help you to measure and track your progress. All right. Again, with this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse you that it is important you give yourself to skill development. Sincerely speaking, it is very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. It will help you to unlock your potential. One question I will ask you as I end this is, what skill are you building? What skill do you have? What can you do with your hands? Or what can you do with your brain? If somebody wants to buy from you now, what are you selling? If you are not selling anything, go and sell something. Sell whether products, whether services. Make sure you are doing something. Again, technical skills. Number two, soft skills. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to stand before 500 people and communicate. Because, listen to me, as much as success is personal fulfillment, you must also understand that impact must be made on people. And for impact to be made on people, you must learn how to communicate. You must learn leadership. You must learn how to solve problems. You must be a problem solver, right? And lastly, transferable skills. You must learn skills that such that wherever you find yourself, those skills will still help you. Right. Again, I'm really excited to be having this with us. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone that's joined, whether on LinkedIn, I'm back. Yeah. Whether on LinkedIn or on YouTube, thank you so much for joining in tonight. Next week we'll also be here again. But before I go, I also want to mention again, let me share my screen, about, right, this conference. Okay, right. I guess you are not seeing it yet. Right. So let me quickly remind you about this conference. You don't want to miss it. Listen to me. Listen to me. I've been talking about success. There is a price to be paid. If you desire to be successful, there is a price to be paid. You cannot afford to miss this conference. We will be looking at people who are thriving in their spheres of influence, telling us, teaching us about understanding the cost of success. I'll be looking at personal leadership, business entrepreneurship and career, finance, health, faith, technology and AI, and relationship. You really do not want to miss it. I encourage you, don't miss it. Tell somebody, share this with somebody. You can see it on my LinkedIn page, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, wherever you are listening from. Make sure you share it. Invite somebody, register so that you'll be notified when we start. Again, thank you so much for joining. I'm really, really excited. And until next time, my name is Olafisoye John Ige, and you are listening to Good Success.